Hey there, soccer fans. Welcome on to this week's episode here Between the Posts. Midweek action in the Premier League. Matt and I are here to break it down. How's it going there, Matt?
It's going well. It's not as well. I'm feeling a little under the weather. Tired of January. Really sad about the Jurgen Klopp thing. Maybe that's why I'm sick, Jason. Maybe it's because Jurgen's leaving the Reds.
I'm telling you, I had that right on my notes to ask you first off because we haven't gotten together since that announcement's been made. Obviously, you're upset and maybe a little bit of a shocker. But what are some of the thoughts you've got?
Yeah, I mean, I think he kind of always said that he would leave on his own terms, and I think you know that's something all of us as humans can hope for, kind of when we have our jobs and stuff like that, that we get to leave when we want to, and so I think he's going out with class, dignity. We've got four more cup competitions to try to celebrate something even more towards the end of his reign, and hopefully we can appoint a good successor because this Liverpool team is good, and whoever takes over, they're inheriting a really good squad.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, Jurgen Klopp has done amazing things at Liverpool. That was the two things that I took away when I heard the news was one, yeah, obviously, like who's gonna be next. A couple of names are obviously floating out there, and I think it's got to be a big manager too, obviously to come in and replace Jurgen Klopp and also to step in the club Liverpool is. Then the second thing I thought of, Matt, is I can't wait. And it probably won't happen a ton just because how damn good Liverpool is. But I can't wait till they need a goal late and to just live bet them. That Klopp magic late in games, they're going to be pushing for him on all four fronts to get as many titles. You're going to see a lot of Liverpool late magic, and I will gladly wait. Well, Premier League, hell, injury time, you get up 10 minutes in some of these games to where they add on time. Liverpool magic late, I can't wait to hit that button.
Yeah, I bet Liverpool to win the Europa League at plus 225.
Yeah, so
It's the
you're
one
really
competition.
you're only sweating Leverkusen. I mean, to be fair, that's your only
Yeah,
sweat.
yeah. I mean, there's a couple teams and whatever, but it's the one comp that Jurgen hasn't won. In his first season, it's kind of like a storyline. First season takes Liverpool to the final, they lose to Sevilla in the Europa League, and here we are again in the Europa League, and I think that he'll have a nice send off, and I think that plus 225 is fair and something that's worthy to hold for the next few months.
Yeah, I think you're going to enjoy the end of the season. I think you're going to get to celebrate a couple times, Matt. If I had to prick it once in a couple weeks over Chelsea, I think at Wembley. So, Matt, let's do something real quick. I've got this game up right here. So if it looks like sometimes I'm not paying attention to you, well, sometimes I'm not going to be paying attention to you because I'm watching Forest versus Arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit you with 5 games. I don't care what the juice is. Just give me a bet from each game because some of these games start today that we're not going to get a chance to break down. So just Forest Arsenal. What would be your pick in Forest Arsenal?
Um, Probably goals. Remember, like again, we were really pretty hot in the FA Cup show. Remember Forest, under Nuno until that. I think until the FA Cup match. I don't think that they scored. Um, did
Yeah,
they
it
score
was.
in that FA
No,
Cup?
no, no. It had cashed in every game that Nuno had taken over, and then that Bristol game was like 0-0 or
Yes.
1-0 or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. It was nil. Kind of go back to it, really. Like both teams to score and Arsenal to win. If I had to play it, like I think that Arsenal gets the job done. If Arsenal was at home, it would have been a halftime, full time play. I'll lay off that. But yeah, I think that Arsenal get the job done. I kind of skipped this match. Didn't really have a ton, not enough gravy on it for me to get involved.
Okay, I think the Arsenal and under 3.5 is the way I would go about this. Listen to Arteta, kind of heard the way he talked about playing Wolves back in the day and how much of a challenge it was. I think Arsenal get it by, but I do think it'll be a little bit of a challenge. So I would take Arsenal with under 3.5. Let's do Fulham Everton. Best bet in Fulham Everton.
Yeah, I'm rocking with the over 2.5 after seeing some lineups. Um, I like Fulham at home. I think that it's their best 11. It's their best kind of attacking 11. And then I think on the flip side, too, you look at Everton's lineup. I think it looks quite strong as well. I know that they're kind of going back five ish, but, they've got, Dan Juma's going to play here. So he's kind of like a supporting striker for Lewin. Harrison and McNeil have been their two, good wingers. I think that both teams can find the back of the net in this one, and it pushes over. But I'm just taking a flat over 2.5. plus 115 at DraftKings. Yeah, at DraftKings. It's like 105 at MGM, 109 at FanDuel. Got the best price. It's at DraftKings.
All right, my best bet from that game would just be Fulham on the money line. I don't know how many goals are going to be scored in this matchup. You're starting to see Everton now. Remember, we talked about Everton, top 5, top 3 of XG. They've now fallen all the way down to 10th in XG created. So those numbers are coming back down to earth where I expected them to. Can't predict the number of goals. Like your over, I would be on the over if I had to pick an over or an under. But I like Fulham money line better. What about Luton versus Brighton? I'm on both teams to score. What about for you?
Yeah, I like that angle. I'm on a similar thing. I basically yeah, I like both teams to score an over 2.5 if that's what you can get. Because at this bet that I'm placing isn't everywhere. I got it at FanDuel. I was listening to a couple other guys before that. This bet has cash in every single Luton home match this season.
Okay.
Luton plus 1.5 at home and both teams to score. So yeah, I think you can find it somewhere. Like plus 110. I got plus 100. It was like it's like minus 101. I think basically at FanDuel. So I'm rocking with something that's hit in every single match, and it's more that I'm just going with.
Love that right there. Again, I'm on both teams to score. I like your play. I've talked about how tough Luton has been at home against Arsenal, how tough they've been against Man City. So really like them at home. And obviously Brighton still missing some of their young guns too to some of these international competitions. A couple more. What about Palace versus Sheffield? This is the only game today that I've got an official bet. I'm on the under 2.5 for just a play like we're doing right here of random fire. I think Sheffield on the double chance at plus 150. What about for you for a play?
Yeah, I like your unders angle. I mean, you look at the head to head; it's been kind of a dream the last couple seasons,
Hmm.
or I guess really just in this season, it was a 1-0 to Palace. Yeah, I hope that your bet hits because it would be helpful for mine. I'm on Sheffield plus 1 at minus 130. So if they lose by a margin, my bet loses. If they lose by 1, my bet pushes. And if they can draw this match, then I would be a winner. So yeah, I think it's I'm hoping for an under dreary game, and yeah, really just no Palace stuff. Hopefully Sheffield can grab the first goal and kind of hold on to a lead. That's what I'm hoping for.
Love it. Love Chris Wilder running those tactics out there today. Then the last game today, rapid fire. Just give me a pick and Villa and Newcastle if you had to pick something in that game.
Tough one, right? I really didn't like. I love this match. I really haven't looked into it too much, but we know you could just kind of go back to it, Jason. Aston Villa at home. Let me just kind of pull up lineups for a quick second because I haven't seen them yet for this match.
I'm only laughing because my
Villa at
play would
home.
be Villa money line. Love it.
I think that we might want to consider it. Really, I think you're kind of looking down the list here. I mean, I'm surprised Trippier. I mean, he's so close to being on his way out of Newcastle. He's starting in this match. Um,
You think he's
they
going to
don't
Bayern?
have their right winger. Who's their normal right winger? Yeah, he might go to Bayern. Yeah, I mean, still
Well,
balling. Joe
Almiron's on the
Linton.
bench. You
Joe
would
Linton.
normally have Almiron on there on the right. He's on the bench for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, look down the missing players. I know some of these players have been out for a long time, but let's just go through them on Newcastle. Harvey Barnes, Joe Linton has proven to be more and more key over the last year. Lascelles, Nick Pope, Target, Tenali, obviously the gambler in him. What a beauty. Joe Willock, Callum Wilson on the bench. You know what I mean? So everything is really heavily reliant on Isak here. It looks like they've got Almiron coming off the bench. So Almiron will get the last 30. Um, and you look at Aston Villa, it's really their normal strong stuff here. I like Villa in this game.
All right, I like Villa too. That would be my one pick. We've kind of talked about Newcastle's home and away form, their numbers even back up, like everything backs it up. I'll take Villa today at home on the money line. All right, let's just jump into these next games, Wednesday and Thursday, provide a little bit more analysis. There's only 5 games. Then we'll come back with you guys on Friday because, of course, over the weekend you get your normal 10 games, and Matt and I will preview those 10 on Friday. Let's take them right from the top. It's Manchester City and Burnley. And this is one, Matt, where it's maybe a little bit hard to try and find the bet when you've got a team on the money line at minus 1,100. Halftime, full time is about minus 235. That's a pretty, I think, strong angle for me. Manchester City on the clean sheet, I think, is also another good, strong angle in this one, but that's at about minus 170 for the clean sheet. I'll revert back to a little bit of analysis here on match day number 1 about Guardiola and how he talks about Vincent Kompany. He's not going to blow them out of the water. And I'm not saying I was fully right on that analysis, but the fact is they got 2 goals in the first half, and then they didn't do much in that second half, only picking up 1 goal and playing a lot more possession base. He's not going to want to embarrass Vincent Kompany. If he stays long enough, and as long as they stay in the Premier League, he's kind of angling for Kompany to take over his job. So back to that same analysis. He's not going to want to pummel him. But the fact is, Man City at home this season in the Premier League have led at halftime in every single game. They like to get the jobs done early and then just coast in the second half. I'm going to go to their team total over 1.5 at FanDuel, a good plus money, because I know I'm going to get 1 goal as long as they lead at halftime. You're getting 1, and this is against a relegation side. They normally pummel relegation sides. I'll take that team total in the first half over 1.5.
That was what, plus 120?
32 at FanDuel.
32. Yeah, I think that you're spot on. I don't really have anything to add on this one. Tough match to bet, but I think that you're generally very good, I think, on finding these kind of angles. I think that Burnley, obviously, it's a dream spot really for City. I agree with you because I agree with you on the Vincent Kompany thing. Like I wanted to bring up Kompany, and yeah, there probably isn't going to be a ton of disrespect in trying to run up the score and stuff like that. I think that Holland will be on the bench. That's one thing, but yeah, I think that's a good angle.
Ooh, Holland will definitely on the bench. It's whether or not De Bruyne can come in. He was asked in his press conference this morning. He basically was like, I could have started him last game, but he was like, kind of, he came off the bench. I don't know. He's going to be starting in one of these damn games. I don't know. Actually, who? I mean, it matters a little bit for my bet because if De Bruyne comes off the bench, then he doesn't factor into my bet at all. I'm wondering, just taking a peek and see who City plays in the weekend. And that was the one thing Ainge didn't want to commit to, at least publicly. He didn't want to commit to Maddison starting, and he also didn't want to commit to Dragusin maybe making his debut. I didn't really watch Serie A. I don't know much about him. Kind of want to see what Dragusin's got. So hopefully, he can come into this game against Brentford and we can check him out.
Yeah, I think that he could be a huge boost in this one. Definitely want to see him in there.
All right, one more other Premier League game tomorrow. This was a funny one in listening to the press conference this morning for Pochettino. I'm, of course, talking about Liverpool taking on Chelsea. We're, of course, going to get these two teams to hook up the 25th of February, I believe it is, at Wembley for the EFL Cup. So we've talked about when you get some of these matches like this in close proximity, you really, really use this in your handicapping. So do that. The thing I thought was interesting this morning about it, I was listening to Pochettino's press conferences. The reporter asked him if he was a betting man, and Pochettino was like, I don't know. He was like, okay, because I was just wondering if you were going to bet a draw, because there's been 7 straight draws in this head-to-head, which Pochettino then was like, well, I'm not a gambler, which then like his PR guy was like, well, good, because you're not allowed to gamble on the Premier League, like you're the damn manager. It's just funny. This fixture, I remember we sat here on match day number 1, we talked about this draw between them and their head-to-heads, but I went on the under 2.5 because that also hits a ton. The under 2.5 and draw, for whatever reason, is absolutely astonishing when you get in the Premier League. 7 straight draws and the under 2.5s, other than a 2-2 cup game, that one's cashed all the way back to the fall of 2020. Unders and draws is about the only thing you can play in this.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think about it, though. Like, 7 games ago, these teams were far different manager for Chelsea. I don't want to read too much into it. I think that Liverpool are going to get the job done here. And I like the same angle that I took in the Tottenham game. Liverpool and over 1.5 goals here. You can find it right around that minus 110. I think that they're going to back Jurgen at Anfield. It does suck that there's no Salah and a couple other pieces, but a lot of those guys are getting back. I think that Trent might go. We'll see what happens here on the starting 11. But I think that Liverpool have enough firepower at Anfield to get the job done here.
This is a Chelsea squad that is starting to, come together and mesh. I mean, outside of right back, Reece James still being out due to injury. If you look at the lineup, like this is the guys, this is their starting 11 that that they would want, in every single match outside of Reece James. So this is the Chelsea squad. I'm awfully curious as to what's going on. I'll be curious to see if they have their captain in this match. If Gallagher is going to be sold to Spurs, before kickoff. I think they would obviously like to have him. They prefer to have him in that role over some other players. Mudryk and Kunku, though, is going to be fit, so he'll be on the bench for this one. I'm with you, though. You try not to read too much into head-to-head, but god damn, that head-to-head in this one awfully sticks out. If I had to pick someone, yeah, I would certainly be on Liverpool. I think they can get the win. It'd be an extra note here just to mention. If Jurgen Klopp gets the win tomorrow, that'll be his 200th win. Be a special moment in this season. It's his last season. It's against a big club in Chelsea. To have that 200th win at home and against Chelsea, I think would also mean that much more on a season in which I think it'll have a lot of memorable moments coming down the stretch. I like Liverpool as well. I would go ahead and buck the draw trend on this one, and I would just go ahead and take Liverpool in this one on the money line. I'm not sure what it's priced if you got to pair it up, but I like Liverpool to get the job done.
Luton bagged an early one.
Luton
bagged two.
I was going to say Luton just bagged a couple.
Luton 2 in 2 minutes, baby. Let's go.
And what are you on, Luton 1.5?
Well, now we're totally Brighton oriented. Now we need Brighton to get going a little bit.
They got to go the first minute, third minute. I mean, damn, we know Brighton's leaky. I mean, there's a reason both teams' score is hitting 18 of their 21 games. We've told you guys that time and time again, but holy hell, 2 and 4 minutes.
Brighton are in a pick on me mode. I mean, they're not. Their 11 isn't very good. You go down the list. I mean, it's not ideal. So,
I didn't like it today with Ferguson on the bench over Welbeck. I hated that. I hate that.
Exactly. So we still need something here from Brighton, but right now the bet's off to a pretty good start.
That's off to a pretty good. I like it. All right, we got 0-0 Arsenal Forest, and then Fulham Everton just kicked off. That one also is at 0-0. So that takes us to Thursday. 2 more games here to wrap up with you guys. West Ham Bournemouth. A resurgent Bournemouth side, as we've kind of talked about lately. Obviously coming off the big 5-0 win there against Swansea. Maybe a little bit of a setback against Liverpool, but otherwise they've generally been kicking ass. This is a West Ham side, though. When I did the research and kind of looked it up yesterday, it's like shit. They're like right outside the European spots, and I didn't even notice. And look at the table, how far Newcastle's come down. West Ham's really jumped up. They're in 6th place. We know how good West Ham is. I like both teams to score, though, because we know that West Ham is generally a good both teams to score team. With Bournemouth having a nice uptick of form, I like both teams to score in this one, and a little less interested in predicting a winner, but I do like both teams to score.
No, I totally agree with you. I like both teams to score in over 2.5. I mean, look at Bournemouth's last 7 matches in all comps. Over 2.5 has been seen. So let's take a look. What do we got? Best price? Yeah, probably pretty juiced. Yeah, no, the both teams to score angle and over 2.5 is going to be right at plus 100. That's the way in here. That's the way in. You got to trust Bournemouth to be able to score. You still think that West Ham, obviously being at home, can do enough. And I think this game pushes up and over the 2.5. So, yeah, I mean, West Ham been really tough they haven't lost at home in 9 straight. They have kept some clean sheets, but I think that Bournemouth are on fire right now.
What about, Matt, and I can't remember the game. I'd have to go back in their recent log. It was 2-3 games ago. When they didn't have Paquetá and Kudus, they were awful in attack. I mean, awful. Kudus obviously still not available. He's, I assume his country's still alive, right? I mean,
well, I think Ghana got knocked out. He's going to be playing.
Okay, well, I was going to say, because Paquetá's definitely out. He's got a calf injury. So where I was going with that is you may not have both of those guys again. If you don't have both of those guys again, I think this becomes a lineup checker. I need to see Kudus in that lineup. They were so bad when they didn't have Paquetá and Kudus. I need to see them. Oh, that was against Brighton. That game that finished 0-0, by the way. That was Brighton.
I'd say 85% chance Kudus starts this. I think he's starting. I think that this is a nice over spot. Definitely do need Kudus if you want to bet on both teams to score an over 2.5. For me, he's that important. He's that impactful.
Where did you say that initial best price was? I see minus 115 on Bet Rivers.
I was just looking, probably FanDuel. I was looking at DraftKings. I just saw the over 2.5 was minus 155.
Okay.
The both teams score angle. Just kind of just look. I haven't bet it yet or anything like that, but I would assume you can get a little bit better than 115.
I'm gonna look here because I think this is worth betting. I got minus 120 over on DK. See what FanDuel is coming in at. I think you're right. Now I'm not going to bet it before I see lineups, but I just want to know where's the best price so then I can jump. Or once, once the
And
lineups
just
come.
make the note of it, like what the price was and where it's going, stuff like that.
Shocker, Bet Rivers has the best price.
Bet Rivers, okay.
Minus 115. All right, that leaves us with one more game to get to today, and then, like I said, we'll come back Friday. We'll catch the 10 weekend games on our normal Friday, or I guess not normal Friday. We do Thursday on Friday because we want to let these games play out on Thursday. I don't want to be sitting here saying, well. Wolves Manchester United. I was looking forward to talking about this one. Match day number 1. This is the game I went, holy shit, we got 3 points. Goddamn, did we get lucky because we got outplayed. United's going to be up against it really tough here, boy. They were vastly outplayed on match day number 1. Extremely lucky. I wouldn't say United's obviously in a great place. Newport, hell, they had that game 2-2 at one point there in the second half in the FA Cup against a League 2 side, which it's just not a good team right now with Manchester United. This one, I'm going to go under again. I think both defenses set up really stinking good here. Both offenses are still struggling to find the back of the net. I like the under 2.5 in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. The line's definitely moved. Sharper bettors are on Wolves here. It's pushed this one down because I think that at one point, the plus a quarter was in a decent range. Maybe at Bet Rivers you could find plus a quarter at still like a minus 140 tipping point kind of line. But that's where I'd be here. I'd be rocking with the home team Wolves, catching a quarter of a goal head start. You can't really. I think it's unbettable really right now at DraftKings at minus 155. You kind of have to look draw no bet, and I'm not a big draw no bet guy. Only in some circumstances do I really like to bet the draw no bet angle. I'm kind of like you. I don't really like to push too much. I'd rather find a way, utilizing all the books that we have to find the best price possible on other angles. You can at least get a half cash. I love the plus a quarter angle, and that's where I would be looking here if you can find minus 140.
Yeah, I agree. I like Wolves in this spot. That's actually painful for me to say that, but I remember that match day number 1 and just how awful they were had. You may even like Wolves early in this one. They usually come out rocking pretty good there at the Molyneux. United's only led at halftime in 3 of their last 21 Premier League games. 3 of the last 21s have they been the leaders at halftime. They have the 12th worst XG away when they're away, and Wolves at home have the 17th worst XG numbers. This one's cooks up for a nice under, and you can get that sucker at plus money.
Yeah.
But sided with the home side there. All right, I'm only going to throw up the one bet. I'm interested in the West Ham Bournemouth, but I'm not betting that without Kudus in the lineup. So with definitely no Pocket-Ted. I need one of those guys. They were dreadful. So I'll throw up the one and only bet that I've made, the one and only bet that I've put some cash on, and I'll ride Man City over at FanDuel and then wait for lineups on Thursday. And I kind of like that under. I probably will be on under in Wolves United.
Yeah. For me, it's Liverpool and over 1.5. It's Tottenham and over 1.5. It's West Ham Bournemouth, both teams to score, and over 2.5 goals. And those are the 3 that I like.
Matt, you mentioned you got Liverpool out on future to win the Europa League. Lee's wondering, what did you get down on Liverpool to win the league? That's what Lee's wanting to know.
I don't have any on the league, Lee. But I'm interested. I am interested in I'm trying to find it, Jason. If you look, I'm trying to find the quadruple. I was looking before we got on the show. Normally it's at FanDuel. Maybe I just need to be looking around, but I think that you can find anywhere from 40 to 80, I think, or something. I don't know. I thought it was even better than that, but I gotta try to find it. But I do think that the league, I mean, if you're going to bet Europa League and you bet the league, you got 2 plus 220 sitting in your pocket. I think that one of them is going to cash. So I think that that's a nice angle in.
I'll tell you, you can't manually build the quadruple because I remember messaging you like an hour after that news broke. I was like, man, I just tried to build this 4-legged quadruple parlay, and the books won't let you build it manually. I don't know what book offers it.
And then so they have some of these like specials or whatever, but I've seen them before. I'm not seeing them right now. So it's annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Lee. Nothing yet is what Matt's saying, but stay tuned. He's just live betting everything. Don't worry.
We just got Bet 365 in Indiana like today. So I'll be looking around there.
Yeah, see if they've got any, what they've got. Nothing. So he's just going to roll with them to win Europa League right now at around plus 220. But yeah, really just got to worry about Leverkusen. And when Leverkusen beats Liverpool, they'll be like, shit, we better go buy Xabi Alonso because they just beat us. And it's either going to be him or De Zerbi right now. I can tell you right now. Don't you dare hire Mourinho. Don't you dare destroy that club. Actually, destroy that club. I hate Liverpool. Destroy that goddamn club. Hire Mourinho. Yeah. Destroy Liverpool. Hire Mourinho.
Zero chance for Mourinho, I think. Zero.
Yeah, it can't be that. That's going to be some fascinating.
He probably. I was thinking about it. He'd probably win some titles in his first year.
I mean, yeah, that's his only window. You're going to get something in year one, then nothing but headaches after that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a Liverpool situation. I mean, that's fascinating. All right, Matt, there we go. All right, we'll come back on Friday. We'll preview the 10 games over the course of the weekend. Give us the good follow on Twitter. Again, I'm interested in lineups for a couple of these games. I'll be adding some bets to it, so just make sure you hang with us there on the Twitter land. All right, Matt, appreciate you hopping in here with us midweek. We'll get back with you on Friday. Feel better, my man?
For sure, Jason. Yeah, let's get some winners today.
All right, guys, let's cash.